All right, welcome back to another episode of Paint with Sean. So today we are picking up on the painting that we started last time, and we've got our sky put together, and we've got some real dynamics going on with some yellows and reds and purples, and a real just fiery looking sky. I love it. And then we've started with some mountains over here in the distance, and we've got a little bit of a closer set of mountains. And today we're going to pick up where we left off, and we're going to add another mountain range over here in the same dark color that we left off with last time. So we've got a real dark purple and black color that we want to use. And I'm just going to mix up some more of that. So I've got this same violet color that we used last time. And I'm going to put some of that in my little tray here and add a little bit of black to it. This is a great darkening agent, but it's very strong. So you don't have to use too much of that, and it will take over the color. So we want this to still have a purple tint to it. So I don't want to use just a straight black, but I want it to be very dark in the background. So I'm going to mix up a good bit of this. We're going to make a nice big set of mountains here in the background. Now again, before we get our mountain going on, we want to make sure that we're handling the stuff that's going to be farther back. So we always want to work with whatever is the farthest away and work closer as things get bigger. And so the base of this mountain range, again, we just want to add a little bit of color to it. We want to make some trees and some things that really look like they're living at the base of this mountain. Okay, so this area in the back over here, I want to do a little bit more with it as we come forward with some white coloration. Okay, so we can start back here and we can bring this same effect forward, but I want to do the stuff that is in the back first, and then we can bring some of this other white looking color and a little bit of brown within it coming forward. So I'm going to take this same purple color that we mixed up last time here. I've got that put together, and I'm just going to use the corner of the brush. Okay, so again, we can have some that come up here above the mountain line. Okay, and this color is almost the same, right? So right in here it may actually not show up too well, but when we come over here, it starts to contrast a little bit more. And if we don't like the color, we've got a real dark color here, we can throw a little bit of a darkening agent in it, and we can have something that maybe shows up a little bit darker. Okay, so this is the magic of painting. You can immediately change what you're doing. All right, you can adjust on the fly. So as Bob said, we don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. And so see, this dark color over the light color actually creates a good contrast. So I'm just going to grab a little bit more of this dark color here. And we're going to put a few more trees as we come across. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, guys, because we're going to bring a whole nother layer over this. So we're just grabbing some dark to really have it stand out here. Oh, there we go. And we don't want it to be even. We really want this to stand out. Okay, so we want some ups and downs. The forest doesn't grow evenly. It never grows perfect. Okay, and these ones that come up over the top, this is really what can help create some more depth. Okay, so now I also made this a little bit taller as it came forward, so it looks like it's getting closer to us as it comes. So okay, so we've got some sort of tree structures, and again, very vague. We can't really see them very clearly, but having the trees over the mountains again pushes the mountains back within the range. All right, so now I want to put some things in here first before we come into the big mountain range that we want to have over here. So I'm going to take some white, and I want this to be fairly pure color, so I'm going to keep it over here on the side. And we want to cover a little bit of ground within the painting. So I'm just going to grab something that's got a little bit of a head to it here. And there's already some color that is on this painting, so we're going to pick up a little bit of this purple as we go. So I'm going to come straight into this, and just on the pure white, okay, I don't want this to be too bulky, but I do want a good amount of paint on here, okay. We're going to come right back up in here, and we're going to create the lay of the land that runs around the mountains. Okay, so we're just going to start right here in the corner, and we're going to slide it. Okay, so we want to slide down through the mountains. And again, we're going to pick up some of this purple, and that's okay, because we can come back over the top and adjust it. Okay, so we just want to make sure that the angles are what we're really looking for. Okay, the angles of this existence are coming through this direction, okay? And then as you turn the corner, they're going to start to come back this way, okay? And it's okay if we get some of this color in here. It creates dynamic in the paint. It makes it look not flat and boring. It creates a little bit of ups and downs. So we've got some real light colors in there. And again, I want to make sure that this is just a good base color. You know, I want this to really look like some snow in here, so we can really flow this in. Okay, so you can see how it starts to come down and around the mountain. Okay, so we're going to get some more white in here. Get us, again, a good base of color coming in, and we can pick up some of that color that was already in there. And if you want to round the corner, you can totally do something like that. Okay, so it looks like things are really connecting in here. All right, we'll get a little bit more white. I'm just going to bring it on over here so it's nice and snowy pathway. All right, we got some dynamics going on. Okay, so I want a little bit more white up here at the top. I really don't want this color to show through, so I'm going to pull some streaks of white. Okay, so we really can show some movement. And white is not very strong, so it takes quite a bit to really make an impact sometimes. So if you don't have enough, just get a little bit more. Alright, and we can come up in here and we can really make some white happen. Okay, that really makes it look like that hill is flowing down into the valley. So these angles are so important. Okay, we're going to get us a little more white and bring it on down in. Okay, and so this immediately makes it look as though there's sort of a hill coming down here. And we really could turn this into some water if we wanted to. This almost looks like a reflection going on in here, but that wasn't really the intention. So we're just going to put a little bit more white on it. We're going to play through that. So the reflection is okay onto the snow, but we want to make sure that it doesn't quite look like water. I want to get some more white on it. I might be running out of white, so I might have to get a little bit more. So let's do that. So again, guys, this is not an exact science with paint distribution. I'm just going as it comes. I'm just kind of making it up as we go. So we're going to get a real good streak of some of that white here. And this white against the purple is really going to stand out as we go here. There we go. I really just want to kind of get some of those brush strokes out. There we go. There we go. I like that. Okay. Bringing some of that dark in with the light. That's what gives it that dynamic coming down. Okay, I'm just going to throw a little bit more white up here now that this is sort of dried out. I just want to make sure we've got our good contrast of color. So I hope you guys are having a good time with this. Again, this is not planned out. It's just kind of as it comes on the brush. Okay. So we're having a good time here, making ourselves a little wintry scene going on. And I do want to come back with just a little bit of the purple for the sake of creating a more natural border. Okay, so I'm just going to tap this a little bit with some of this dirty purple so it doesn't look too perfect where that edge comes together. Okay, so we can kind of just make it disappear a little bit. And again, same kind of thing right here. We can make this come out however we want. Okay, and we're just doing just enough to disrupt that edge. Okay, we don't want it to be too defined, but we don't want it to be perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a little bit more of that paint there. And we're going to throw a little bit more on there. And another way you can do this is just to lift up. Okay, so this is another technique, depending on the look that you're trying to get. Okay, so we can do a little bit of lifting, just real light pressure. We don't want too much pressure. Okay, so we disrupt that edge just a little bit. Okay, beautiful. All right, so you can see we've got some things coming around and coming down the mountain range, and then we're going to put a big old mountain over here and just sort of stop everything in its tracks, and this will just disappear. And if we really wanted to, we could create another, you know, even more distant mountain range off in the back if we really want to. Okay, so this is our opportunity to sort of just create the scene as we decide. All right, so I've got my nice dark color going on here. We're just going to get the background of our nice big mountain going on. Okay, so again, because this color is so dark, even where I've got this sort of dark sky, it will just overtake that color instantly. Okay, so we want to make our big decision. Where do we want the top of this mountain? Now, the higher up this goes, the bigger this mountain thing is going to look like. So even if it overlaps, if it's down here, it's not going to look very big. So we really want that close thing to be sort of higher in scale on the page. All right, so I'm going to start up here and just kind of create our mountain, nice big sharp mountain going on. And we're going to bring it down over the top. Okay, and same thing over here. I just want to create a giant space so this thing looks very close. Okay, and we just want to pull this paint down. Again, the background color, we just want this edge to stay nice and dark. Okay, so we can grab some more paint on here, and we just want to really start to pull this down so that it covers the back. Okay, so we're just sort of blocking this in. I want to make sure we've got a nice dark background to work with. I'm going to use up the rest of this dark color here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and we can really start to create some of the shape of the mountain by pulling this down. Okay, so it sort of evens out those lines. Okay, so we've got a little bit of dynamics going on, but you know how we do this. Okay, we're gonna really make some big things happen. All right, I love how Bob always loved his big giant mountains. All right, so that nice sharp edge there. Okay, so we're gonna get our white going on. I'm gonna put that brush there. And again, as long as you wash the brushes while they're still wet, you don't have to wash them right away. So when you're using colors that you want to repeat and use again, you can just keep it. So I want to put a little bit more white on here, have some things going on this one, and kind of connect some of this together. So I just want to leave this white as it is. All right. So my purple is also a color that I want to continue to use. So I am going to put the highlights on with our knife here. So even though I've got a good amount going on in this little container, it's okay if the colors mix a little bit. So I've got this mostly as a pure white. Now it is going to pick up some of this dark purple that's on here. So that's okay if we do a little bit, okay? So I'm going to start up here and we're just really no pressure, nice and soft, okay? Barely touch. And the more you push on this, and this is kind of an uneven edge of the canvas, the more you push on it, the flatter it will get. Okay, so if you feel like you're really having to push hard to get more paint to show up, just get a little bit more. Okay, so I'm just going to get a little bit more, and we're going to pull this down. Get a little bit more paint on there. We really just keep with the angles, okay? And some of these extra little scrapes and additions are what really creates the dynamics of the mountain, okay? And towards the bottom, we might have it be a little bit less snowy. I'm going to put a little bit more on mine. Okay, but if it's not as highlighted as the top, that's also okay. So we're going to come over here to the middle part of the mountain here, and I just want a little bit of snow going on there. And we're going to come down here and come in. Okay. And so again, guys, you can play with this with the light and dark contrast. That's really what we're looking for. Okay, so we can connect that in there if we want, and maybe it comes down here, and we've got some really good things. Okay, so we can make this go as far as we want here, but again, I'm just adding some little pieces here and there. We're just going to get some extra little mountain going on here. These little edges, these little corners is really what I play off of a lot. Okay. And there's no right or wrong way to do this, guys. Mountains are all over the place. Okay. So you can really decide how much you want to play into the depth of what this ends up looking like. Okay. So let's get some over here. Get it flowing down this way. I'm just going to add a little bit more here. We need one little peak going on here. Okay, and these sharp lines is what really makes it look like there's something drastic going on. There's an immediate break in that hillside. Okay. Okay. So we got some white. Beautiful. We got a lot of mountain going on. Okay, I like how it's working, but you guys can see the more detail that we put in this, the more contrast of light and dark, right? This white mountain over here that has all these sharp white corners. Okay, these are the things that really make it look more detailed and closer to you. Okay, so I'm going to put the knife down, or I can just paint this whole thing white. And we're going to put some contrast color. The dark is great, but we don't want it to be completely black like that. We want to have just a little bit of a shadow color where some of the dark shows through, but some of it isn't quite that color. Okay, so I'm going to come on the other side, and again, I'm just going to add a little bit. And I really want to make sure that I'm flowing with the angles of the mountain. Okay, so maybe this comes down here and meets up, and there's a little swoop right there. Okay, and I just want a little bit coming in through here. And you can see this color was almost made just by blending with the mountain color that was already on there. And so if I want a real steep mountain, I can come straight down, and it makes it look like this mountain is about to just throw you off of it. Okay, so we want to leave a little bit of that dark in there. So we're just going to go a little bit at it right here at the top. And throw in a couple little angles. Get some things flowing down the mountain here. Okay. And in the areas where I have lots of light color, if I want to throw a little bit, okay, it really can break up how that mountain looks like it's going. Okay, so we can throw a little bit of that dark in there, and it really adds some dynamic into the way that the mountain looks like it's coming down. Okay, so again, you want to create these stark differences in the way that things play out. All right, you want that light on dark color. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit of white here, and we can just throw it in. Okay, we can add a little bit more dynamic here. We can add some here. We can throw a little bit of white into here. Okay, and it makes it look like that mountain is flowing, and there's little highlights of snow that really show you the lay of the land. And that's what I really love about what Bob Ross taught me, was just these little swoops. Okay, these little pieces can create so much dynamic in the way that your mountain looks with just a couple strokes. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you have it in your head. If you try to plan it out too much, sometimes it just gets frustrating trying to uphold whatever you think it should look like. But when we just come in here and we understand the mechanics of light and dark and the lay of the land and how things flow, okay, and allowing the brush strokes to really give us that real look of movement, okay, so I can pull through this and get some movement happening because these lines are showing up. That's when we can really start to create something that looks realistic. And that's what people ask me, is how do you make them look so real? It's understanding form and color. Okay, it's a contrast to color back and forth, and the way that we want things to look. Okay, so in here, maybe this looks a little bit too exact, so we can break it up a little bit. It doesn't always have to look that way. So we can decide, and that's what I love, is there is no wrong way to do this. There are some pieces that we need to put in place, but once we understand the base structures, boy, we can really just have a good time with this. Okay, so down here at the bottom, I really want to get some more snow going on. So I've got this same dirty brush, and I just want to try to wipe off as much of this purple color as I can. Actually, let's use the white one. I really want to make this nice and white. Okay, so I've got this big pool of white over here. There is a little bit of purple in it, which again is okay, and we're going to pull some of this color into this. But I really want to just kind of bring this back around down the mountain. Okay, so this front piece overlapping the back is really going to take precedence. Okay, so as I put the white on and I bring this purple down in here, this directional pull of the color from the mountain is what's really going to show us what layer is in front. Okay, so I'm going to be real light in here. I'm just pulling some of this purple in here. Okay, so it's a real light, distinct path. So you can see that this one comes in behind, and it just sort of disappears behind this mountain range here. Okay, and so I want to pull some of that darker color and really just have it overlap. All right, so we're going to get some more white in here. We're just going to kind of fade out the base of this mountain right down into the base of this picture as we're coming here. So I'm going to keep coming with some white all the way across here. And again, we're just real light pressure, not much pressure going on. Okay, and the less defined the bottom of this is, the farther away it will look. But we want to keep this angle going, this same angle the whole time until we want to change the plane. Okay, so if we want to change the way it looks and we want something else to happen, we can put something else going on in another direction over here, and it will push this mountain back. Okay, so we've got some more white here. We're just going to play right through the end of this. We've got our little bits of snow going on. We've got some of that dark coming through. Kind of creates a little shadow for us. And the angles are very important. Okay. So we're coming down that mountain there. And Bob always talked about telling a story, and I love that sort of part of it, where it's, you know, there's no real idea of what's happening. It just kind of seems to flow based on where you're at and what you feel in the moment. Okay. Okay. So we've got a real good set of layers going on, and that's what I really wanted to show you guys in this video, is how to create depth within the painting. I love the sky. We've got a lot going on, but really all we've made is some mountains and a few trees. Okay, so we can put some more things in here as we go, but we've got some movement happening. We've got some structure going on, and then down here at the bottom we can finish up with some more additions to this painting. So again, I want to respect your guys' time. I appreciate you hanging out with me. We've gotten through a good portion of what it is that I wanted to represent, with some distance and some mountains, and just showing that the color variation. Again, this could be so much lighter and it would push it even farther back. And if it wasn't quite as tall, if it was only about half the height, that would look even farther away. But again, we can play with this and have it be whatever it is that you want it to be. So again, I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you for hanging out with me. We're going to continue this painting in the next one, so I look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day.